Hello and welcome to this year's City Builder video. I know it's a little bit late, I'm really sorry, but to make it up to you, I have doubled the amount of games that we're going to be covering today. That's a lie. Originally I really tried to keep it to 5, but it turns out 2024 is going to be a really good year in this genre. We're just going to dive straight in. I've split our games into different categories today, so let's have a look and see what's up first. Our first category today is sequels. Over the last few years, we've been absolutely blessed by some stellar titles in this genre range. From frozen landscapes to post-apocalyptic wastelands to the skies above, these games soared high and far enough to warrant a second entry in their series. And lucky us, they're all slated to release in 2024. If you've not heard the news, I'm curious as to which icy boulder you've been living under. Frostpunk 2, the aptly named successor to hit title Frostpunk, will be hitting our Steam accounts in 2024 from developer-publisher 11-Bit Studios. In this new iteration of the frozen disaster setting, the player will come across new threats to their city, beyond the usual resource management and sawdust soup. In fact, we once again come face to face with the largest threat any city builder can pose to a player, and one that 11-Bit Studios seems to delight in presenting to us: human nature itself. So those of you who watch my streams will be very familiar with my forays into Frostpunk. No discontent! We need to whip people more often, chat! And of course, my love for the soundtrack that I am lucky enough to own on vinyl. So when I heard in 2021 that we were getting a sequel, I was beyond stoked. Frostpunk, though it vexes me, has some of the most incredible visuals I've ever seen in a game. And those visuals look to have been updated beyond the stylistic, circular design around the generator that we've all become familiar with. The most important thing to get excited about with Frostpunk 2 coming out though is that there is a chance that we'll be getting a brand new album of Frostpunk-esque music from the same composer as number 1, Piotr Musial. So far we can only contribute the music in the Liar trailer to him. Nothing else seems to have credited him as the composer on the rest of the game so far. So we can't confirm it, we're just going to sit tight for a little while and fingers crossed we get more of that beautiful, hauntingly gorgeous soundtrack. The stakes very much look to have been cranked up to 11 in this installment, and I feel like it's gonna make me cry a lot. So we have no discernible release date beyond 2024, but that does seem to be fairly well set in stone. However, I really hope that 11-Bit Studios is taking their time and crafting this game and giving it and their developers the attention and space that they need to make this a really fantastic game. We're okay to wait a little bit longer. It's been many years since Frostpunk. I need to steel myself a little bit before we go into the next one. Next up, we have one of my most anticipated games of 2024, Endzone II. Our survivors are once again battling the nuclear landscape in a bid to secure their survival. The major difference between this game and its predecessor seems to be the ability, and requirement, to settle multiple sites across the map and trade between each one. There's also a stronger focus on player direction, with drivable vehicles and controllable settlers during expeditions. With a recently finalized Kickstarter, this project is a return to the apocalyptic wasteland a lot of us know and love, along with our trusty bus taking us to new horizons and a very sexy logo. To be honest, when I heard that Endzone was getting a sequel, I was really surprised. It hasn't been that long since Endzone came out in 2021, and for us to be getting a sequel is a welcome surprise. And to add to my surprise, the team seems pretty set on Endzone 2 coming out in Q1 of 2024. With an overhaul of previous systems and graphics, the team has actually been pretty transparent with what they're changing and why, which does help placate my worries a little bit that we're getting this sequel very quickly. Such a constant blog and meaningful conversation has placated and alleviated those fears somewhat, because I came across a lot of trailer studios. I just loved Endzone too much for that to happen to it. I don't know much about game management, but the blog posts are actually really well written and do a really good job at bringing across the simple steps of this is happening and here's why. So far, my favorite thing to find out has been that our settlers now have fingers. I don't know why, that just really tickled me. I was a backer on this project and the entire Kickstarter was handled super duper well by their staff. I have great faith in this studio and I'm excited to see what differences they can bring to Endzone 2 from Endzone: A World Apart. A return to the soaring settlements of Airborne Kingdom was not what I had on my bingo card for 2024, but I'm pleased that we're here. Airborne Empire is said to be an exploration-heavy title with unique challenges lent to it by its premise, that of building a flying city. Players will have to manage tilt and lift just as they did in the previous Airborne entry, but now they have a new element to contend with. Pirates. Conflict has been the major cornerstone of changes for this sequel, with the player set to come across defences and sky pirates during their quest to reforge the Airborne Empire. Quests and dialogue also look to be expanded along with the general world lore. Genuinely one of the games on the list that I'm most excited for. City builders as a genre can tend to get a little bit samey-same, but Airborne Kingdom brought something different to the entire genre. You build a flying city, which means if you build too much on one side, your city will tip. If you run out of fuel, you fall out of the sky. It definitely brought some unique challenges in a genre where everything can get a little bit... How much grain do we have? Oh my god, where are the barrels? Airborne Kingdom was like, hey, you're plummeting to Earth. And so now we're adding conflict to the mix, and I'm excited and I'm nervous because, quite frankly, I had enough trouble keeping my city in the sky when it was a very passive game, and now there are pirates and there are cannons and there are defensive installments. I'm just trying to reunite the Empire, bro. Don't be using me like a clay pigeon. It will come as no surprise to most of you that we've seen a massive upswing in historical-based city builders in recent years. While always an extremely popular category, the preliminary success of certain builders seems to have lent some confidence to other studios to try their hand at this favoured subgenre. And so we dive into perhaps the most anticipated city builder of all time, Manor Lords, from Slavic Magic and Hooded Horse. Following the release date announcement a few weeks ago, it's now sitting at the second most wishlisted game on Steam. This ambitious historical city builder features real-time battles, unique conflict elements, and a surprising amount of control over building with its gridless system. With only a few months to go until release, our long wait is nearly over. Okay, so I've talked about this game a lot on this channel, and it really has been cropping up everywhere in terms of city builders. I have people I've never met on Twitter before DMing me saying, hey, have you heard about this game? It's getting to a level where I'm a bit nervous about April 26, 2024. That being said, I'm super duper excited for it because this has become such a benchmark, I think, in what city builders are now going to be aiming for. Indeed, one of the things I found when I was researching for this video is a slew of similar looking games, which makes sense. I mean, when something is proven successful at this level before the game is even out, naturally that gives other studios time to try their own hand, their own version of it. But I have massive, massive faith in the publisher, Hooded Horse. It's been a long-time friend of the channel, and they pick up wonderful, wonderful games. When I got the email saying that Manor Lords had been picked up by Hooded Horse, I genuinely thought I was dreaming, because this was a game that I have been gunning for at least 2 or 3 years, and to be picked up by Hooded Horse, that was just a pairing that even my wildest dreams couldn't hope to make a reality, and the email was just sitting in my inbox with those facts in writing. So that's amazing. So the game is no longer lingering in the nebulous coming soon tab. We actually have April 26, 2024, which fills me with a lot of confidence. That is such a specific date. Oh my god, I'm going to be moving during that time. I'm actually going to end my lease early so that I can play this game unobstructed. To have such a set in stone concrete date, not Q1, not Q2, not April 2024, but an actual date, makes me think that there's going to be some hullabaloo about this release, and I'm here to holla and I'm here to baloo. One of the other things I'm really excited about with Manor Lords is that I think it's the first time I've seen siege equipment included in a city builder game. No, I haven't played Stronghold. Don't comment. Stop typing. Delete your comment. I haven't played Stronghold. I should. I haven't. But that makes Manor Lords the first game to have siege equipment in it that's a city builder. But one of the biggest draws for me with this game, and this is going to sound so crazy if you have not watched my channel before, I'm so sorry. One of the biggest draws for me with this game is the gridless system, the gridless road building system. because that means I love gridless roads. I'm sorry, but I do. I think they look fantastic. One of my real nitpicky things about city builders is like, hey, let's build a row of squares after a row of squares. And I really love like what seems to be emerging along with having conflict in every title is this gridless system. New Cycle did it. Farthest Frontier did it to a point with their roads. You can make them more curvy and nice.
The thing that gets me the most is it has hexes or squares, and yet you somehow still figure out a way to do the janky line.
And I really like the idea of being able to just build a very natural looking hamlet, natural looking village in Manor Lords. So that for me was a really big draw, which might sound really strange. And the other one, God, this is going to sound even stranger. Again, I get weird about certain things with my city builders. These are the things that make the games really good for me. I just really like good lighting in games. I get weird about it in Bannerlord during nighttime sieges. I got weird about it in Gord, and I'm gonna get weird about it in Bannerlords because it looks fantastic. I just feel like lighting can make or break an atmosphere, and Bannerlords looks to have addressed that really, really well. So, yeah, I really, really like lighting. We've got just over 5 months until Manor Lords releases, and I'm literally going to rearrange my lease so that I can play it on time. In 1706, a group of pirates formed their own republic, and in 2024, you can too! Republic of Pirates is the city builder remake of a very real historical entry. Settle the islands, engage in naval combat, and provide your settlers with the resources they need to thrive amongst a perilous diplomatic climate. Republic will also feature a narrative-driven campaign and free-play mode for those players who prefer to play in the sandbox. So I am one of those people who just likes to play in the sandbox, but I'm genuinely pretty keen for a Pirates-themed city builder campaign. I really do get some Age of Empires 3 vibes from their artwork, which is really, really good. Hearing that naval combat is going to be included in Republic of Pirates, along with all the other city builder stuff that I love. Honestly, that's what ended it up on this list. Also, you guys kept recommending it, and I had to check it out. I do get some Patron vibes from this as well, just in terms of where it's set and the color palettes and the vibes, which is not a bad thing. I enjoyed Patron a lot, and I'm curious to see what that would be like with combat, especially on the water. I'm really all for city builders that are trying to break out of the forested landscapes, let's build in a field kind of thing. So let's get some vibrant landscapes going. Let's get some jungles, let's get some deserts. Come on, let's bring it on. Also boats. I'm really, really excited to sail some boats. From the humid Caribbean and rain-soaked landscapes, we now head to the shores of the Nile. Dynasty of the Sands is an upcoming city builder from Rocket Flare Studios and Playside Publishing. The player will be given the option to choose their starting point on the map and, in so doing, choose their own challenges. But if they're able to overcome the early game resource management and disasters, a paradise of the sands awaits. This one's in the historical category with a tiny little asterisk on it, as there is an element of fantasy, as the Egyptian gods appear as real to the player as they did to the people of the time. The player will have to appease the gods through a faith system to ensure the continuation of their city. Ooh, this is one that I'm really looking forward to. I actually read all the dev diaries of this, which is not as impressive as it sounds, and the dev diaries are really well written. Whoever writes the dev diaries of Dynasty of the Sands, you do a great job, and I'm a huge fan of yours. Reading them really gave me the vibe. This is going to be such a niche thing that I describe. Reading the dev diaries gave me the same vibe as reading the booklet in the CD case in the back seat of your car. Not your car, but like my parents' car. When we were driving back from like the major city near our house, and I'd been taken to the computer game shop, and I was allowed to buy like another Sims game, you know, and you had such a long drive home and you're so excited to play the game. You're like, well, I'm going to read the booklet and learn everything I can about the game. And it just served the hype. It brought the hype. But yeah, I really got those vibes from reading the dev diaries. Like I was reading it and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to play this game. Look at all these mechanics. They've thought about this so well. I'm so keen to try out a new city builder in a beautiful desert kind of biome environment with all these different things that they've thought of. I think I tried playing Nebuchadnezzar. I tried to do a review on that a couple of years ago and it just did not grab me. It was not my art style. So I see this as kind of like a second chance at an Egyptian-themed city builder, which I'm super duper keen for. Oh, so by the way, if the name of the dev and the publisher sounds familiar on that little card that came up on the screen, it's because the devs did Surviving the Abyss, which we covered last year, and the publisher did Thrive Heavy Lies the Crown, which we also covered last year in the 5 city builders video. There's a lot written here because I got really, really excited about the dev diaries. So this script entry is like 3 times as long as the other ones. Just know that I got really, really excited about everything that I found. And this is probably one of my top choices from this list because I know that you guys like this category, and it looks like this game is being made with a lot of love and attention and care. So there's some good stuff in here. Specifically, what I've noted is that you can actually build kind of like vertically, so you can utilize cliffs to make like water gardens and tombs and stuff like that. So I think that's a really cool element to add. That's another dynamic in which we can explore. There is massive thunder going off right now. This video has been so cursed. This video has been so cursed. We've had a myriad of sci-fi based city builders in the last few years, and 2024 is shaping up to be no different. With the sci-fi settings comes a set of unique challenges and environments, and I've picked out a handful for us to have a closer look at today. First in this category is the Crust, a moon-based city builder that almost looks like Space Engineers and Factorio had a child together. With multi-level building, production line crafting, and surface expeditions, the Crust is an ambitious foray into this genre for developer Viom and publisher Critivo, the same publisher who brought us Prehistoric Kingdom. We're looking at stunning visuals and huge potential in crafting satisfaction for those who love to tweak the production lines until they're just right. Okay, so the narrative premise of Crust is pretty cool as well. After hollowing out the Earth from precious resources, we go to the moon and we're apparently like mining something in there which can we're looking for a big Control-Z in the middle of the moon because we want to put the Earth back to the way that it was. So it's going to be curious to see if that is actually an end goal in your process of playing the game, or if it's just there as kind of like an overarching, this is why we're here, this is why it's set on the moon, this is why the Crust is set on the moon. I kind of hope it's the former, in which it's like, hey, build this colony, get to this stage, build this rig, mine this thing, restore the Earth, but I can't see them moving us back to Earth to continue the game. That would be super cool. That would be a huge contender for Game of the Year for me if we had that kind of progression. I'm a really big fan of city builders, especially with a defined endpoint. And we'll go into that a little bit more later. I don't think that's going to be the case with Crust. Just kind of like the vibe that I got off of it is going to be kind of like a little bit of a Factorio type city builder. So kind of like crafting chains and production lines and stuff like that. I'm a little bit intimidated by the idea of like those production lines. I think there are going to be smarter gamers than me that have a better time with this game. I think there are going to be a lot of people that find this game really satisfying to play. It also looks really pretty as well. I'll definitely keep an eye on it when it comes out. Might give a cheeky early access a go. We'll see how we do. Next in this category is another Hooded Horse title, Beyond These Stars. This game falls neatly into our sci-fi category while waving hello at the growing trend of cities built on animals, which is not a category I saw coming. I blame you, sir. Beyond These Stars features a beautiful sentient space whale named Kiwa, upon whose back your burgeoning colony thrives. Learning to coexist with your cosmic mammalian Uber should be the first step for the player, as Kiwa is fully sentient and has wishes and ambitions of their own. So it turns out that a lot of city builders love hexagons the same way that I love Oreos. The art style of Beyond These Stars is really adorable, cozy, close to home. For all that, you're colonizing a whale. One of the things I really do like is that the devs, Balancing Monkey Games, have actually taken the path of making the whale part of like the gameplay. It's not just a set piece. It could have very easily just been a set piece, but I'm really hoping that they kind of utilize this unique setting and bring it forth into the gameplay, quests, dialogue, choices, consequences, that kind of thing. I think that would be fantastic. A playable demo of Beyond These Stars was released at PAX Australia this year, but someone was a complete loser and did not attend. So I guess I have to wait a little bit longer until I meet Kiwa and begin my journey through space with hexagons. Our final entry in this category is Heart of the Machine from Hooded Horse. Hang on, wait, what? Another Hooded Horse title? At this point I should have made them their own standalone category. Heart of the Machine takes city builders down to the nano level with this newest entry in their catalogue. Pitched as a hybrid city builder strategy game, the player acts as the world's first sentient AI in a city full of humans to surveil, infiltrate, manipulate, and control. Role-playing makes up the main gameplay of Heart, with a heavy focus on player choices and the consequences born of them. Heart of the Machine looks like a very different entry to the other games in this list, but I wanted to include it because it was so different. It's a sentient AI deciding what to do with the humans beneath its feet. I mean, we may as well roleplay before it becomes the inevitable reality. There isn't a whole lot of footage available for this game yet. I'm keen to give it a look once it's out. I don't know if it's going to be as much city builder as it is going to be kind of like a strategy game. So I guess we'll wait and see what direction it takes once it's a little further along in development. I really like the vibrant, cartoony kind of graphics to it. I think that's a really good complement to hopefully what's like a tongue-in-cheek commentary on the rise of AI in today's society. So after finalizing my list for this video, originally 17 games, I realized that one major subgenre lacking in city builders are true fantasies. Yes, some previously mentioned titles will have fantasy elements, but I found it difficult, or maybe I just wasn't looking in the right areas, to come across some pure fantasy builders. I eventually settled on this title because, well, I knew my community member Safety Wizard would really like it, so here you go, Safety. Fantastic Haven from developer Piece of Cake Fabulous, the best studio name I've heard in my entire time of doing these videos, is the fantasy zoo environmental restoration rehabilitation experience we've all been looking for at some point in our lives. Honestly, probably since we all forgot about our Neopets. As magic fades from the world of Fantastic Haven, it becomes your role to rescue and preserve the magical species, responsible for the natural balance while educating the populace and forging relations. With a bright, airy art style to complement the light-hearted fantasy adventure theme, Fantastic Haven seems to have a very solid idea of what its premise should entail and deliver. I made you feel guilty about your Neopets, didn't I? I think this one's really gonna hit with lovers of Prehistoric Kingdom and Planet Zoo. We have that kind of enclosed, customizable biome where you have to manage and balance certain needs of different creatures. And I've never seen that kind of in a fantasy genre before, so this is too cute. That was actually what grabbed me about this, is the, the management of specific creatures' needs, and also the little griffin! Come on! Considering this game was only announced on September 21st, 2023, that's the earliest I can find of this game being mentioned. The Q2 2024 is a really ambitious release date. I'm gonna keep kind of glued to updates on this one, but I hope that the studio takes their time and focuses on bringing out a good product rather than keeping to what I think is a pretty grueling schedule. There's currently a Kickstarter project that at the time of writing the script wasn't out yet. Q2 is April, May, June. So that is September to latest release June, not even a year in development, is really, really quick. It's an ambitious timeline for an ambitious project with a lot of heart and soul. So we'll see. Also, my God, I hope they bring that griffin out as a plushie. I need it. My soul, I need to give it up for the plushie. So that's it, right? 10 city builders to look forward to in 2024. Oh man, it's gonna be a big year. I'm glad we managed to cover some really exciting titles coming out in the next 12 months and just, wait, there's more script. Probably one of my favorite city builders ever has just released into 1.0, and it would be remiss not to mention it in a video specifically about new city builders. Against the Storm... Wait, this one is also from Hooded Horse? Against the Storm from Eremite Games is an incredibly well-built roguelike rainpunk city builder. With a bright, colourful art style, calming rain ASMR-infused soundtrack, and unique, bite-sized scenarios with clear-cut end goals, Against the Storm is a great way to wind up a few hours, or 10, at the end of the week. Working to earn the Queen's favour amongst the storm-riddled forests of the Wastelands means braving the glades and their hidden dangers within. Resource management is crucial to surviving the challenges posed by what the glades reveal. We've definitely got a few notable games coming out next year. Like I said at the start of the video, this is going to be a huge game for 2024. We've got Frostpunk 2, we've got Manor Lords coming out, finally. Oh my gosh, amazing. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what these industry breakers do to the rest of the genre. To have a title like Manor Lords rise to the second most wishlisted game on Steam, with a titan like Hooded Horse backing it, not to mention the hype that's been generated by the dev themselves, it's gonna be an interesting time. I'm genuinely curious. I need to clear my schedule. I need a new house, just so I can cover that time properly. There was a lot, like I said, when I was researching this video. This video originally was 17 games, I think, and I cut a lot of them out because I could not see enough evidence of development continuing at an acceptable rate. I mean that as in, like, there's been no meaningful updates, there's been no devlogs, there's been no concept art, there's been no gameplay trailers. It's just, I called them trailer studios before in the script, and I stand by that because they just seem to produce like the really fun bits. And it's the same in publishing. You always want to be doing like book cover reveals, you want to be doing announcements of new books coming out, but then to actually put in the work is a different story, and it can require different things, different resources, financial and time management and staff. It's all different. It was really hard to make the decision to cut some of those games, but at the end of the day, I want to bring games in this list that I feel have a good chance of coming out and being complete whole games. And that does require a little bit of vetting. I'm going to head off before the storm cuts my power and ends this video in a really strange way. So cheers for hanging out for the entirety of this video. I'm really curious to know which game you're looking forward to, or if you think I missed any. What games do you think I should have put on this list that weren't here? Feel free to drop them in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. I always forget to do this kind of stuff, and get ready to keep watching the Bannerlord playthrough coming out. Feel free to join me on Twitch and come and hang out. We'll chat about some city builders. We're going to be sussing out some city builders in the future on stream as well, so feel free to pop by at twitch.tv/ReneeSky. I'm going to be returning to YouTube in 2024. We're going to be doing game reviews, we're going to be doing first looks, and I'm going to be starting with quite a few games on this list. My god, I want Dynasty of the Sands more than I want to live. Cheers for watching, and as always, happy creating.